Awesome. All right. So I got a little presentation here I'm calling Flying Solo, which is all about how to navigate the turbulence of freelancing. So freelancing, as we may or may not know, is, working as a independent agent. You're building your own business, solo professional, but that is a lot of responsibility with that. And so it can be very turbulent ride. So having had the experience of being a freelancer for more than a decade and coming out the other side as well, and seeing many different aspects of this industry, I have a few things that I think I can share to help mitigate that so-called turbulence. So first of all, my name is Brad Hussey. I'm a designer, creator, freelancer from Canada, and my passion is web design. I've been doing this in some aspect, some form for the better part of maybe 12 years at this point. I built my first website when I was very young. And then I went to school for design, interactive design, and I got a full-time studio gig for 1 year, but I quit after 1 year to pursue freelancing full-time, and I haven't looked back. Since then, I've been able to create content and to serve clients from all over the world, from building websites to teaching people how to build websites. I've created courses, I've done coaching. Um, I've done so many different things in this industry. So I've seen lots of different sides. And so like I said, I have a number of things that I would like to share because I've been uh, lucky enough to be able to make a successful and fulfilling career as a web designer that's completely solo. It's just been me. And so that's kind of what I'd like to share. So the first thing I'd like to outline here is, what are some common misconceptions about starting a design business as a freelancer, going into this solo? Well, it's really all about just kind of stepping up to the plate. And you need to understand that business isn't easy. So you might like design, you might like the idea of being free and having the freedom of running your own business. You might like, your craft, but that's very different from actually running a business and being a business owner, even if it's a company of one. And so if you want to play the game of business, which it is a game, you need to step up to the plate and you need to swing. You need to take swings, and you're going to miss swings. You're going to strike out. You're going to get hit. And my whole point to this is, in order to start succeeding in business, is you really need to start generating cash flow quickly. It's not about how you look. It's not about your personal brand. It's not about all of the, what it looks like to do business. It's about actually doing business. And business, when it comes down to the nuts and bolts, is clients and cash flow. Now, because of this, business and running a business is not glamorous. It's really not what you see on Instagram. The influencers who share about their business and running a business. It's not about what you see on Twitter and they call them thread boys who give you I built a successful business and here's what I would do if I started all over again. And then you read the threads. It's like, that's not business. Business is you get clients, you serve them, you solve problems, and you make cash. You make money, and then you make profit so that you can reinvest that and keep going and keep going. So you need to be unglamorous. You need to be okay with looking stupid, making mistakes. You need to go for no. And so I like saying go for no, because a lot of the time we think, hey, we should be going for the positive thing. We should be going for yes. Here's the thing. You're going to get 99 no's before you get one yes. And all of those no's are like badges of honor. I like to say to people who are starting out in business, every time you reach out to a client or you pitch something or you make an offer and you get a no, which is inevitable, put it on a sticky note and put it on your wall. And you should have like a war chest of no's all across your wall. But then when you get the one yes, the little green sticky note, put that on your wall. That's your treasure. That's your prize for going for all those no's. So you need to get those out of the way. You need to strike out that many times. Now, maybe you don't need to strike out 99 times to get one yes, but that one yes is going to change everything. So I like to say, go for no. Look stupid. It's unglamorous. Be courageous. Business is not easy. So these are some common misconceptions. It's not an easy game, but it is worthwhile if you play this game for longevity. And so I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. So the real core essentials for building a design business, any business really, but a design business as a freelancer, it's super simple. Clients and cash. That's the two fundamental building blocks. So don't get lost in all the minor details. Newbies tend to overcomplicate this way too much. They think about branding, they think about websites, they think about their design, they think about font choices, they think about font sizes, they think about their personal brand, their social media, their content, SEO, all these things. They think about a million things that you can be distracted by, which in and of themselves can be important. All these little aspects, branding, SEO, content strategy, all of these things, they're important in their own right. But when they are disordered and not literally put in the right order, you're never going to achieve success, because you will always be tweaking your logo, tweaking your website, making another version of this, thinking about, oh, how does it look? How does it look? Is the wording right? Is the color right? Blah, 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 blah. You're going to get lost in the weeds, and your business will suffer and will ultimately no longer exist. It will cease to exist, because you need clients and cash. And you can get clients and cash without your website, without personal branding, without all the strategy and all these messy details. Take care of the big problems first, and the small things tend to take care of themselves. I think Tim Ferriss said this once, and I'm going to butcher this, so it's not necessarily a direct quote, but it was something like, when you're tackling something big, trying to learn something, you're trying to achieve something like growing your freelance design business, what are the main things, the big things that I can do that by doing those things, all of these other small things don't matter or take care of themselves? And that's what I like to see it as. The big problems are clients and cash. So without these things, everything falls apart. If you get enough clients and cash, then you could start to either pay for other people to help with your website. You could spend some time figuring out your branding. You could spend some money, investing in this. But if you are trying to do it in reverse, then it's not going to work. So you can get some clients, get some cash and some clients first. And I'll show you, we're going to go into this. How do you do that? I just want you to know that you can kind of skip all that other stuff and take care of the small stuff once you get the bigger things taken care of. So what are some of these strategies that can help a freelancer build this successful business? And I think it comes down to your offer, scaling the offer, and then a business mindset. So let's drill down into that for a sec. So some strategies for success. So you need to create an offer. So in order to get clients and then cash, you need an offer. You need to offer something. I think it's a very simple formula. There are 3 variables that you put together, and there's lots of different things that you can switch those things around. There's 3 key buckets, let's say. And in those buckets, there can be lots of different variations. And then you get to experiment and figure out what works best. But the formula is you need to define a target market. So that's like a type of business, a type of client, a type of industry. It could be very specific. It could be more broad. Target market. Then you need to find out what they are suffering with. And I use that word very intentionally, suffering, because it's a very intense word. Because if your client has an itch, if you're trying to scratch an itch, well, if I have an itch on my back, I could probably scratch it myself or go up against the door jamb and take care of it myself. I don't need you to offer me some expensive solution to scratch an itch. But if I am suffering with something, it's a repetitive issue, it's something I want to no longer suffer with, then I am most likely to be seeking actively for help with that and will be willing to pay in time, energy, or money, or all of the above. And that's what you need to find for your target market. Then what? Well, now that you know your target market, you know what they suffer with, well, you need to develop some solution to that. What's the offer? What's the solution? Is it some aspect of your web design? Is it some aspect of your graphic design? Is it some aspect of content marketing and getting in front of the right customers? This is your job to figure this part out. So if you know the person, you know what they suffer with, you could probably come up with some sort of solution to that. Map that out. Then give it a price. It could be exactly a specific price. It could be it could have a varying price. It could have hourly rates, fixed rates, value rates. There's lots of different ways. Again, I don't want to get in the weeds here on pricing your offer. It's simple. Problem, solution, price. Okay, now what do? You've got yourself a nice, neat, and tidy offer. Well, nobody knows about it. So now it's your job to tell them about it. So start making offers. Start talking to people. Start talking to your target market. You know who they are, what they suffer with. Maybe you've interviewed them and talked to them and validated that that's the case. Well, no one's going to buy your thing until you start telling them about your thing and offering it to them. It's literally that simple and that hard. Then what you need to do, once you've validated that, maybe you've made a couple sales and you've got a couple clients on board for your specific offer. Well, now you need to think about scaling that. How do you make that actually into a business? Sure, you collected a couple $1,000s for a website project, building it in Editor X, where you've got SEO content, you do branding, you do logos, you do all this stuff, and you've charged whatever price, $2,000 to $5,000. I'm just picking a random number here. Then you need to get more than that. You need to get that consistently. So start documenting, streamlining, or automating anything that you do more than twice. Outreach, if you're researching clients, if you're asking clients questions, onboarding, offboarding, lead capture, the way that you fulfill your projects, document it. Create instructions, standard operating procedures. Now, when you have those in place, what you could do is you could do things like, well, if you're doing it yourself, you can follow your rule book, your guidebook, and it's just easier to do each time. More importantly, maybe you subcontract out somebody for project management. Well, here are the instructions on how I manage projects, how I onboard and offboard clients to deliver better value and a better customer experience. Maybe you can automate. In fact, you can automate things like onboarding, offboarding, lead capture, lead nurturing, delivering email newsletters, maintaining communication, asking referrals. There's so much you can automate as a company of one. And this is going to create massive amount of freedom for you. Now, when it comes to the mindset, I tacked this on here, is you need to stop acting like an employee because you're not an employee anymore. Now, you can be an employee of your own business, but you need to be the person working on your business, not in your business. If you're busy in the weeds, working on the minutia, then that's taking you away from working on your business, steering the ship, keeping yourself on track. So think of yourself as more of the visionary, guiding the ship, the captain of the ship, so to speak, rather than the person who's pushing pixels, dragging and dropping. Now, you might be doing both, but you have to remind yourself that you're not here just to fulfill a role like an employee. You're here to grow a company, even if it's a company of one and will always remain that way. Now, how can freelancers identify their niche and deliver maximum value to clients? Well, ideas are cheap. Most people, or many people, have great ideas, but they don't execute. So they might have I have some friends who are really good at coming up with good ideas, but those ideas don't see the light of day because it's easy to come up with an idea. I've got a great idea for this. Oh, what if I offered this? What if I did this? I built an Editor X site in a week and I did this, and this. Excellent. What are you going to do about it? Well, if you don't do anything about it, then it's cheap. It's worth nothing. It's valueless. So what you want to do when you come up with this offer, do something about it. Go and test those offers with real people. Talk to people. Ask them if this is something that they would buy. Now, better yet, if they do say, you know what, that sounds helpful. I would buy that. Like, okay, show me the money. Now, obviously don't say that, but a potential client saying, yeah, I would buy that means nothing unless they actually do buy that. So you could say, well, that's awesome. Well, for my first 5 clients, I'm offering 50% off of the standard price that I'm going to be offering once I launch this publicly. Would you like to be one of the first beta customers? You'll get half off you'll get a lot more feedback and you'll get a lot more kind of input on this whole thing. And then you get this for a great deal. Does that sound reasonable? Now, if the potential client says, absolutely, let's go. You're like, where do I sign up? Perfect. That's a good sign. But maybe the potential client rather, says, oh yeah, no. I think it's a good idea and I would buy that, but I don't, I'm not going to actually buy that. Well, why not? Find out why not. Maybe there's something wrong with your offer. Maybe they were just trying to be nice. You need to get real feedback. So come up with your idea, but actually put it out in the wild. Battle test it. Is it a bad idea? Is it a good idea? Is it an idea that makes you money? Perfect. Figure that out. Now, determining a niche, it takes time. It's sometimes you might have an idea for a niche and great, go test it. A lot of the times, niche development is really that. It's a way to develop on your niche. It's you figure it out over time. You workshop it. I like to say it's like throwing spaghetti on the wall. You have a bunch of spaghetti, you throw it on the wall, whatever sticks, follow that. Like you can try a bunch of different ideas. Maybe you have an offer. Maybe you have a productized service. Maybe you tried offering website design to this market, but they don't pay as well. But this market, they're way more hot and they buy much quicker or they pay more. Okay, follow that. Develop the niche over time. Find that market, uncover their suffering, and present a solution. And there's lots of variables here. So if it's a common problem that they suffer with and it's repetitive and it's an expensive problem, well, that's something that they would be most likely to spend good money to have solved. And if there's more of these folks in the market, well, try it again. Ask your first client, hey, do you know anybody in your, any colleagues or anybody who might benefit from this solution that I was able to do for you? More often than not, they'll say, yeah, actually, I'm going to put you in touch with Tony. And then carry on. Now, how can freelancers make the most of their relationships and increase their productivity? So relationships is one of the most important aspects of your entire business. You might think, oh, well, maybe it's your website, or maybe it's your offer, or maybe it's how much money you make, or maybe it's X, Y, or Z. But the reality is it's your reputation. That is something that is going to serve you or not, and your reputation will precede you. So build your network, your relationships. That word of mouth marketing is the best marketing strategy. Now, it's a longer game, but let's say you serve a client, you get one client, and you do a really good job. Over deliver on what you've offered and do an excellent job so that your reputation starts to grow. Then ask that client, hey, like I said, do you know somebody who would benefit from this as well? Could you put me in touch with them? Awesome, thank you. Now you've got a warm lead. Do the same thing, over deliver, and then ask that client. So now you've got 2 or 3 folks and they're letting people know. But as you start creating that share-worthy work and serve your clients, they'll start talking about you anyway. Now, maybe they might not talk about you until next week or even next year. I've had clients 5 years later have someone send somebody my way and say, hey, when I worked with you 5 years ago, it was amazing. And this person was looking for somebody like you. I hope you're still doing this. Your reputation, that will snowball. Build that network, build that reputation. It's worth its weight in gold. Now, in terms of getting more people to come to your offers, so you can't always just be reaching out directly to folks. Now, you can do that to a certain point. You can get your base layer of customers, get some networking and get some referrals happening. Excellent. You should be doing that. But longer term, maybe a step 3, how do you get more people in the pipeline? Well, that would be through content. Now, you could do that in lots of different ways. You can establish your authority by writing, blogging. You can use your own blog. You can use a different blogging platform. You can be on social media. You can record content over video, podcast, or you can shoot video. You can create content that way. So there's lots of ways that you can choose. You get to pick the one that you like and put in the reps, create some content, share your insights on the industry, share your insights on how clients can benefit from X, Y, or Z. Like, you get to explore that. That content is like investing. When you invest, it has a compound interest over time. Now, I've created content 10 years ago, and I still create content. But I'm starting to especially see the benefits that I've created content 5, 6, 7 years ago. I'm still getting people from that content, whether it be videos, interviews I've done on other people's podcasts, courses, YouTube tutorials, all for people in my industry coming to me and saying, I watched that video that you made and it was amazing. And I want to talk to you about doing some business together. And I created that video like 7 years ago. That's insane. And it's marketing for me. Create that. That's an asset. It's like investing in your business longer term. It builds an audience, it establishes authority, it attracts clients. And once you build that list, once you build that audience, that's your distribution channel. If you have an email list of 500, of 5,000, of 50,000, you're set, because you have people who are there, who like hearing from you, who you've added value to, who you've helped, who are your referral sources and clients. And you say, hey, I'm trying out this new offer actually. And for the first 5 people, I'll do it for this much. Anyone interested? Just send me a message or click this. It's your own distribution channel. Now, as you start getting busier, you're going to be wearing many hats. You're going to be doing sales, marketing, fulfillment. You're going to be doing all of the operational aspects of your business, all the creative aspects. You're going to be very, very, very busy. And you can't do all of it alone. Thankfully, we live in the age of the internet and automation where a lot of that can be really, really streamlined. So I have a simple productivity hack I call EDAK. Eliminate, delegate, automate, keep, as in like keep it for yourself. Here's how it works. So any task that comes your way, especially if it's something that is repetitive, that happens more than once, you ask, is this something that I need to do at all? If it's a no, eliminate it, get rid of it. If it's not adding any value to your business or your life or pushing you forward towards your goals, eliminate it. It's not worth it. Now, if it's a yes, move to the next step. Is this something that I need to do personally? You can go, if no, delegate. Find another person to do it for you. Hire a contractor, hire another freelancer, Upwork, Fiverr, someone in your network, someone you know, and say, hey, I'll pay you X amount to manage my email inbox or to do client onboarding or to answer questions about this thing, whatever it is. If it's something that you must do, okay, well, what you can do then is say, of this thing that I'm doing, actually, I twisted this up a little bit. For delegate is this something that a human needs to do? That's what it was. If yes, must it be me? Okay. If not, delegate it. Okay. Now, automate is the next step. You go, is this something that a human needs to do? You go, no, it's not. Let's say like creating an automation for capturing an email, sending them a 5-part newsletter, and making an offer. Fully automate that. There's no reason why you shouldn't be doing that. It's very, very straightforward. There's lots of tools available that can allow that to happen. And there's lots of things that you can automate. Calendar booking calls, booking sales calls, following up with customers, asking for referrals. All this can be automated. Now, after all of this, if it can't be delegated and it can't be automated and you have to keep the task, that's yours to do. Maybe it's sales calls. Maybe you're the sales call person. Maybe it's designing the site, fulfilling the service. Maybe it's a specific type of task that has to be you. Then that's your list. So then you start dispersing all of your tasks that were once all yours. You got rid of a bunch, you delegated some, you automated some, and you kept the rest for yourself. Much more manageable. Revisit that strategy quarterly as you grow, and then your workload will be much more manageable as you grow. Now, want to be aware of my time here. We're rounding up to the end. There are some tools that you might want to consider. So let's jump into that. So I don't want to give you like specific tools because again, that's getting into the weeds and it's against what I'm trying to teach here. It's not about getting into the weeds in specific tools. What you want to do is you want to leverage tech tools to serve you. So use tools to support your system, not the other way around. Don't find a cool tool and go, oh, wow, how can I plug this into my business to make it better? No, you should have systems first. Maybe you're managing your email and you've created a nice standard operating procedure of how you do it. And you go, oh, this is really messy when I'm managing projects in email. It's so messy. Here's how I do it, but I'm losing emails, I'm forgetting this, I'm forgetting that, I'm getting distracted by newsletters. Then now you find the tool that best serves that system. Project management. Find the right project management tool and apply your system to it. And you can do that to automate things, to streamline things, to delegate things. It keeps things, keeps supporting your system rather than just finding a cool tool, being distracted by the shiny new object, and then chasing that. Okay. Now, in terms of technology and the internet world that we have at our fingertips to serve our business, one of the biggest things is joining a community to help support you on the journey. So whether that's your support group, your peers, partners, collaborators, potential clients, find a community that's exciting for you to contribute to get help from, to ask questions, to answer questions, to establish a reputation. You don't want to be building and growing your business in a vacuum because you're going to be attacking yourself constantly. Oh, I'm not good enough here. Oh, I can't do that. But if you are sharing your work, working in public, letting people know, hey, I'm trying this offer out, or I'm doing this, or I got this client and I don't know how to answer this question. Get help from folks who are in the same boat or were in a similar boat as you, and don't build in a vacuum because you're going to get feedback. You're going to get help as you go, and you're not going to feel so alone because this is a very lonely venture. Freelancing is. And if you need help from somebody, leverage the brains and the minds of other people who have already done it. So mentors, maybe it's courses, maybe you book a coaching call with somebody who's further along. Maybe you're in a community and you see somebody who's been doing this for 20 years and you go, you know what? I kind of want to jump on a call with that person. You go to their site, you find out they offer calls or they offer a coaching program. Don't be afraid to do that. It's investing in yourself to launch yourself forward where you can't quite, let's say, read the label from inside the jar. Now, in terms of work and life balance, if you're a solo freelancer, how can we do this? How can we make sure we clock in and work and out of work and have a respect for our personal lives and our professional lives? Your business, even from home, like I do here, I'm in a room in my house. I have been for a very long time. This is what I've been doing. It's a real job. It's not just like a cool thing you get to be on the computer at home or whatever. You need to set boundaries. You need to create respect for yourself, for your schedule amongst your family members, whoever is in the house with you. And you need to build a schedule. Here's when I'm working. Here's when I'm not working. When I close the door, it's done. I shut down. It's shut down. Don't be constantly on your phone, checking email, refreshing, doing that. Oh, responding to this. I'm guilty of all these things. And as I make these infractions, emailing clients on the road trip or doing this, my happiness plummets. Put it in its place and let it be there. Put it away when you're done. Create priorities, your health, your wellness, your relationships. Draw a line between work and home. Build time for breaks, vacation, rejuvenation. You're the boss after all. You didn't get into this business so that you could be a slave to your own business. You want to allow it to create freedom. Allow it to give you time and space. Allow it to take Fridays off every once in a while or every week. You get to create that. Build it in and make that a priority. Now, my brief conclusion here, what does the future hold for freelancing? Well, it's not going anywhere. It really isn't. It's always going to evolve and adapt with the times, with new technology and trends. But the reality is there's always going to be, and if anything, more and more as we move forward into this more gig-based economy, where you get to create your little micro business, you can create a great living as a micro business owner, company of one, as a freelancer. It's not going anywhere. It's a journey, not a destination. So like I said, I've been doing this for about 12 years and I have longevity in mind. The way that I freelanced 8 years ago, very different from the way that I freelance today, which I imagine will be very different from the way that I freelance in another 8 years from now. You get to carve your own path. Take it seriously and set priorities, set some goals, work hard, humble yourself, and pursue what you think that matters. Now, if you want to continue this sort of conversation and you want to get deeper into these aspects, I know I touched on certain things and I didn't give real specifics. If you want to get into the weeds a little bit more and you need help on specific areas, I invite you to join me in my free community. It's called the Creative Crew Community. It's for professional designers, agency owners, and professional web designers, creative studio owners, or maybe that's what you're trying to achieve in your career. Well, that's what you can do in the crew. You can come join our conversations, live streams, coaching calls. It's all free. And it's a wonderful resource if you want access to that. So that's creativecrewcommunity.com. And I really appreciate your time. If anybody has any questions, I'm very happy to answer. Thank you so much.